は僕をダメなやつと思う。鏡を見つめる僕を見下げているけど、中には大きな力希望がある。 Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. It's plain and simple, dear. I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn. Your pawn. Your pawn. My love was in
Welcome to the, what day is it today? Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. CFX, welcome. Trump Coin 2. Nadia, welcome. Soul Life, welcome. Rolando, welcome. Michael Hasser, welcome. 1 minute till Doom arrives. Doom never arrives early or late, but it arrives at precisely the moment it needs to. All right, who is ready for the big announcement? Trump Coin 2. Do you think that's what's going to happen tonight? We are so back. I've sold my late father's priceless stamp collection for a vastly reduced value to invest. Sarah's welcome. No, but I wouldn't be surprised anymore. Casual hump day. It is. It's basically Friday Junior. Look, I'm reaching here, folks. Ladybug, welcome. It's probably going to be some nonsense like we're hunting down radical gender extremists and Antifa. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. So in case folks are wondering, there's supposedly going to be some type of announcement tonight, address at around, I want to say 9 p.m. Eastern time, that the president is going to say, supposedly it's going to be around affordability or something like that. It's unclear. What's that in real time? GMT. Good question. I have no idea. Okay, so we are five hours behind. So yeah, 5 hours from 9 o'clock p.m. Like 2 in the morning. President Trump said on Tuesday he'll deliver a live national address on Wednesday at 9 p.m. from the White House. It's been a great year for our country, and the best is yet to come. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's probably just gonna be like a propaganda nonsense. It's 23-29. Gotcha. A resignation? Maybe. No. Echo Resto Dragon, welcome. Is it war or is it Epstein? No, it's distractions from both. John Lithium, welcome. Thursday's my Friday this week because burning through some extra PTO. Nice. Posted some links on Discord. All right, we'll check it out. Maybe Stimmies if he really wants to appeal to people. Maybe. I don't know how that's going to work out. Not going to hold my breath for that. I could use the money. This administration owes me some. Yeah, I mean, heck, I think we all could. It's our money. Or Mary Jane Free now. That's true. He has been talking about declassifying, or lowering the status of weed. Stimmy's Biden Trump coin exchangeable for merch in the POTUS store. That would be a very on-brand thing to do. That would be a very Trump thing to do. My PTO started Thursday of last week and lasts until New Year. Nice. Or to put it another way, I'm jonesing for some stimmies. I mean, heck, we're all struggling here because of the very same policies. Yeah, he's announcing Medicare for all. My goodness, can you imagine? Can you imagine? As your favorite president, I will now be announcing Medicare for all. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. All right, folks, time to get started. Today's going to be on the shorter end because I am tired. I am tired, folks. Thank you all for being here. Do all the things and all the stuff. If you want to support the channel directly, please spread the word. We'll be here Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays around 5 p.m. Yeah, today and tomorrow we'll do a short stream. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the links, folks. Look at that. He's gonna break up the Steam monopoly by forcing everyone to use Epic Game Store and EA Origin. Nah, that's cause for riot. Check out the links, folks, to Discord. Check out my show on this space every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Bad Lefty, welcome. Bruno, welcome. Team Steam here. Yeah, I'm much more of a... I'm a bigger fan of Steam than I am of the Epic Game Store, let alone EA. All right, folks, let's get started.
Emma, you've asked many times in the past several months, is like, what is the authority that we have to randomly fire on boats in the Pacific and in the Caribbean Sea, where we don't know who the people are on the boats? We don't know where they're headed, or to the extent that we know that we're headed. I mean, we know that at least on September 2nd, that boat was headed to Suriname. And then to the extent that it had any drugs, this is according to the U.S. military that issued the orders to blow up this boat, or I should say responded to the orders, that to the extent that there were any drugs, it would have gone to Europe. You've asked, like, what is the authority in the past? And I have a feeling that they've probably started asking themselves at the White House the same thing.
What the authority that they're using to wait, because Congress has the power to declare war. So if Trump is acting and bombing boats as a supposed act of war, that is expressly illegal unless he's using the 2001 and 2002 authorizations for the use of military force in the wake of 9/11.
And how would you go about doing that? Well, here is the president yesterday, now sort of including, and in the past they said, like, these are narco terrorists, and people are sort of like, but narco terrorists, what are you talking about? They're just people in a boat.
Yeah, because again, like, just to be clear, like, nothing has been proven except that they're on a boat. There has literally been no trials, Nothing like that. It has just been they have just decided to open fire on these boats, and we have no earthly idea as to who is on those boats. So yeah. That's right, good old GW. That's what he left us with.
They probably don't even.
Kind of irrelevant, even if they are narco-terrorists. Extrajudicial killings are meant to be a bad thing. Yeah. The justification was the ordinance is about to expire and had to be used. True.
Necessarily have any guns. I mean, we don't even know if but how do you turn narco terrorists into actual terrorists? Well, this would be one way.
Today, I'm taking one more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today.
Yeah, so this is, they're talking about the designation of fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Again, it makes no sense to do this unless you're trying to drum up a pretense to go, to war with Venezuela or whoever, right? In the region. Right, reefer madness again. Yep. But deadlier. Because I would say like a step up, from that same vein.
We're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year.
Well,
that we know of.
I'm sorry. 200 to 300,000 people die a year from fentanyl?
That we know of.
That we know of. Okay. Let's just let him finish here.
Is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass.
Yeah, this is insane stuff. Like this is legitimately insane stuff. This is insane stuff. Now we know. Now we also know Stalin's not the only one who had a similar list. That's low. It's actually 200 billion die from fentanyl. True.
Mass destruction. Today I'm.
Would you mind Googling how many fentanyl deaths annually in the United States, please?
Yeah, you can just Google this stuff. It's
so most recent data is I got in 2023, 72,000 people died.
And there's a slight provisional data for 2024 suggests a significant decline in overall drug overdose.
47,000.
27% drops in death in overdose deaths from 2023 to 2024.
But that's not possible because we were not bombing boats in 2024 or in late 2023.
Yeah. We had a Sleepy Joe bringing in all the drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Biden administration oversaw certain efforts to get Narcan and other sorts of medication that prevent death from overdose more widely proliferated across the country. And most experts, who aren't focused on the narco-terrorists, obviously, attribute those deaths, that reduction, to efforts like that.
I would imagine it's also a function of we saw fentanyl. We saw fentanyl overdoses explode as a function of the opioid epidemic.
Yep.
Once people could not get the opioids that was prescribed to them and they had become addicted, they started to buy fentanyl, or they abused fentanyl before that. I know someone who went through something like this, and it was the prescription to then buying it on the street pipeline was
This has been a problem, and we went over this yesterday. This is a problem perpetuated by the opioid crisis, which was perpetuated by Big Pharma. Froggy Mano, is that why all the fentanyl drugs users are sleep standing? Because of Sleepy Joe? That's right. Why not 200 to 300 million people it would be just as true. Yeah, sure. 1 billion, 1 gazillion billion people were killed by fentanyl. What's going on with the Sackler fam? No, they're good. Those are the correct, those are the acceptable dealers of narcotics. Addicted is a bad way to describe chronic pain. I'm pretty sure a lot of the fent is produced in the US. We import the ingredients. I'm not sure. I just genuinely don't know how like all this works. I do know that it's not coming on boats from Venezuela. I can't remember what happened after their $1 billion plus settlement was thrown out. Good question. Me neither. All the fence should be handed to me for safekeeping. Yep. Sounds that's fine by me. I'm sure you'll do everyone a service by ridding the world of fentanyl.
Pretty prominent. We have since tightened the restrictions on prescribing these opioids. In some instances, probably in ways that may be difficult for people who are going through pain problems, but nevertheless, and it has slowly started to diminish the number of addicts. And so we've seen it in terms of fentanyl deaths. But to call it a weapon of mass destruction is simply a way of changing the definition to fit where there may be statutory authority to do this way this kind of work.
Exactly. The 2001 and 2002 authorizations for the use of military force need to be repealed. But in particular, they're incredibly broad in the authority that it gives the executive branch. You covered this, I'm sure, all the time in the early parts of the Majority Report, because the Bush administration was all about this unitary executive theory where they wanted to increase the power of the presidency.
Digging a big hole in my garden. Cognizant with the tier 1 sub for 36 months. Thank you so much. Look at that. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, they re-agreed to $7.4 billion this year, which inflation adjusted is less than I thought. Gotcha. Oh, where's the drug option? Oh, that was my bad. Okay. I didn't put the Mary Jane option. I'll just call it war. Okay.
Specifically within the context of the war on terror, the Obama administration came in and did not engage in reforms. And because the Obama administration wanted to maintain its own ability to do what it wanted, the executive branch having that authority, we are in part in this position today because that was kept in place. What is a terrorist at this point? It just basically means anybody that the United States decides that they want to summarily execute, regardless of the impact on, or regardless
ding, 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 that's the point
of what that person actually is.
What gives us the warrant to get the guns out?
Look, here's the bottom line is that we know that the vast majority of fentanyl does not come from Venezuela.
If any, right. It's the cocaine is more of I believe, the drug that is trafficked through Venezuela.
Even then, like maybe 10% of U.S. drug use is with drugs that are coming from Venezuela. What Venezuela does have, however, is a lot of oil.
Yep.
And actually, I think some a decent amount of minerals. I don't know if they're rare earth ones or others like precious metals. But they have a lot of natural resources that I would imagine Donald Trump believes somehow got stuck underneath their land when in fact it really belongs to some multinational corporations.
I mean, when
So
he
this
took
is
that,
what it's about.
yeah, when they seized that oil tanker just last week, what did he say? I guess we'll keep it. That's his viewpoint. He views
Yep.
incredibly crudely the rest of the Western Hemisphere as the United States' backyard, which is what like a lot of left-wing movements in Latin America have been immensely critical of, because the United States mostly in the 20th century
Cocaine catching a stray. Magoki, welcome. Terrorist was originally a term invented by the United Kingdom to designate any political dissent who opposed British colonial oppression. We get all the oil tankers now. That's right, because they all belong to us because reasons. Why even entertain such an absurd argument?
was doing that stuff via
2001 all
covert
over.
action.
2001 all over again.
But now Trump is trying to use 9/11 related authorities to expand it to Venezuela. And how do you do it? You use the language of the Iraq War to make it so that, it's all under the same umbrella. Any plain-faced reading of their justifications of
It's absurd.
of
It's
this kind of
absurd.
thing means it should be illegal, let alone the fact that there's no evidence that's been presented that these people are even drug runners. They don't give their information.
Yeah, we have no idea. And also, even if they were, you don't get to extrajudicially kill them either. That's not how that works.
They just say it, and then people are supposed to believe it. We don't even know that they are trafficking drugs. It looks like they were just fishermen, and we just murdered over 80 people.
I'm also signing a declaration today to say that Rob Reiner was a weapon of mass destruction.
Yes.
His
All
tweets
Epstein victims.
2001, you mean 2004. I think Bin Laden was close to Afghanistan.
and all Epstein victims.
Yeah, whenever we went. Well, I mean, just the justification for going in, basically, to Iraq. Oil dropped below 55 per barrel. The break-even price for the least costly to pump domestically. WMD Iraq was 2004. Gotcha. When was that? I'm not sure how far back the word goes. I suspect it comes from early to mid 19th century, but I'm not sure. I think they were talking about the colonial era.
Weapons of mass destruction. They're trying to destroy Trump.
Yes.
The Tea
So
Party.
that's-
And you are all Trump.
And when they destroy Trump, they destroy all of you. And you are the masses. So
My little pug chimps.
let's tune into somebody else who's not very bright. This is clip number 11. You'll recall that a couple of years ago, I was on Patrick Bet-David's show. And I had said
a couple of years ago?
well,
Valuetainment.
I did it last year, and then I did it the year before, I think. So it may have been 2 years ago.
Okay.
When I did Patrick Bet-David's show, and I said that we should have a 90% marginal tax rate for, I chose $3 million because that's basically where it was in today's dollars in the 50s and in the early 60s. Every dollar you made over $470,000 was taxed at a 90% rate. And we had the greatest economic expansion of this country's history. I'm sure in part because it was in the wake of World War II. But the point being that the taxing did not in any way inhibit it whatsoever. And in fact, we had the least amount of wealth disparity and there were still problems, of course, at that time, but it showed that level of taxation was completely sustainable. And Joe Rogan really took issue with that.
Oh no. Yeah, all right. When I want commentary on tax policy, I really think to turn to Joe Rogan. Who pals around with millionaires and billionaires and is himself very wealthy. An intellectual giant, if you will.
He
Yeah.
said some idiot was on PBD. He knows my name. He just didn't want to say it. And he doesn't know anything about making $3 million a year. This guy's never going to make $3 million a year. Now, he may be right about that. But it seems like now he's like starting to see that maybe that we need some taxation, but he's looking for other reasons why we shouldn't do it. In my estimation, you tax that way so that you maintain some measure of like democracy without having a plutocracy.
Yep.
But here he is with
And even then, you can't really guarantee that because all of that can be undone, as we've seen. Like, we used to have that marginal tax rate, and we don't now. So it can always be undone.
Jimmy Carr. Is that a comedian?
Yeah, British comedian.
Okay.
Right.
Good luck.
A weird political ploy, too, to look to the
I think it came from a left-wing literature of the early to mid-19th century. I can think of a Marx quote using the word terrorism, but I don't know that he was the first to use that word. I'm not even less sure about precisely when terrorist was used to denote individual people. Good question. Honestly, no idea. The word terrorism originated during the French Revolution's reign of terror in the 18th century, but its meaning has evolved dramatically over time. It derives from the French word terrorisme, based on the Latin word terror, meaning great fear. Following the French Revolution, the term's connotation rapidly became negative, and it began to be used by newspapers to describe intimidation and violence. So yeah, I think you were by the you're right, 19th century, so around 1870s, about.
wealthy people and say they're the problem. They're your problem.
They are.
That's the thing that people will do to the proletariat, right? They will tell them the reason why you're in this situation today is because of these greedy people aren't
Yes.
paying their share. These wealthy, if they paid.
Yes. 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 It's really that simple. When you have this much level of wealth disparity, it starts to unravel the very fabric of society. I mean, literally, when you have such wealth disparity, when you have these ultra wealthy oligarchs buying government and warping society to their to fit their needs, this is what happens. Yeah, it's about right, 1870s. It's not that they don't pay; they make too much. Yeah, but they don't pay enough. If I may, profit margins were also bigger back then too. Full employment targets 40s and supply line disruptions in 70s gets the stagflation switch to financialized economy. Shrinking margins require more volume. Yep, this makes sense.
Their share. Like,
Can you
where's
pause
it gonna go?
I'm sorry. I just want to weigh in for a second.
Where's it gonna go, dude? To freaking healthcare, man. To healthcare. Like, why is it never, like, when we're about to... Hold on, 1 second. We're eventually going to go over this. We have $901 billion with a B. It's shy of $1 trillion just a skip and a hop away from $1 trillion for the quote unquote defense budget, but you're complaining and bemoaning that idea that we shouldn't tax wealthy people because where's it gonna go? Why is it never the question like, hey, wait a minute, what is this? Why are we doing this? Why is that never the question? Yeah, not counting off the books revenue.
It's amazing that he is making the argument, if you just took out wealthy people and put in immigrants, that's the cynical fascist argument that the Trump administration is currently deploying, and it's a lie. What he's talking about is truth. What he's saying is the truth.
But when I say it with this voice,
right,
it makes it
it's
not
amazing.
true.
It's amazing to hear that because he's acting like this is not material at all. That like we don't already make choices about how we redistribute resources. He's acting like this very material thing has no impact on people. And I wonder who in his audience is like, I mean, they're not all millionaires like he is. They've got to say, what the hell are you talking about? I wonder what his views are looking like.
People are freaking out because you said the word proletariat, which is also a word I don't think I've ever heard him say.
Yeah.
One wonders who he's been having conversations.
This is a faux attempt. Like, make no mistake about it. This is nonsense, or this is shenanigans from Joe Rogan. Okay. You shouldn't be able to make so much that you can buy immunity from all laws. Correct.
With
today is because of these greedy people aren't paying their share.
Yes.
These wealthy, if they paid their share, like, where's it going to go, though? Is it going to go to this corrupt government that's the one who's feeding you this nonsense in the first place? What are you going to do? You're going to enrich them.
It's going to go to the people, Joe. When you tax, the purpose of taxation, among other things, is redistribution of wealth. That is the point. One of the points. I guess points for calling the Trump administration corrupt, I guess.
They're just going to get bigger and stronger and have even more power. And then you're even more fucked. You're even more fucked because you don't have any resources. Like, it's not going to help you.
This is such a, like, kindergarten level of understanding on how this works. Okay. I mean, this is kindergarten level. Like, I'm not saying that you have to be, like an economics professor, okay? But if you think about it, for 5 seconds, what he's saying doesn't make any sense at all. Actually, it'll go to the subsidized corporations. If we really wanted to implement plans of taxing the rich and increasing taxes for wealthy people, we could redistribute that and make healthcare programs if we wanted to. These are all hypotheticals. We could open up more green spaces. We could provide publicly funded education for college. We could provide publicly funded trade schools. We could provide publicly funded parks, conservation efforts, infrastructure efforts. We could make sure that people don't go hungry. All of this is possible. But we don't do any of them, and these are conscious policy choices. Every day, that Congress sits in office and doesn't make the decision. Last time I checked, Congress allegedly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but allegedly, Congress has the power of the purse. They can set tax code. Every day that they sit there and choose to not do this, it's a policy choice. It is a conscious policy choice that our supposed elected representatives that are supposed to represent us do. Every day. Every day it's a conscious policy choice to have people on the street homeless. Every day it's a conscious policy choice for people to not give people health care. Every day it's a policy choice to not fund public education. You need publicly funded elections first. I'm totally on board with that. I'm totally on board with that.
If they tax rich people and then are the poor people going to get that money? No.
Yes, Joe. Like in a hypothetical situation where you have a government that, first of all, like you would be, if you were in a situation where there would be a government willing and able to start taxing the rich, it is then presumed that they are going to do something with that money. Okay? If you have a government that is willing to increase taxes on the wealthy, chances are that is the type of government that is also going to plan to use that money to do whatever. X. Let's make a healthcare fund to give everybody a universal healthcare system. Let's make public housing projects. Okay. Things like that. So yeah, it would benefit poor people. And just in principle, right? Like, just in principle, the fact that you are reducing income inequality is better for everybody. Point blank. Period. Just on principle.
Are there services going to improve? No. You're just going to get more government. It seems like a good idea.
I like
maybe
Jimmy
the
Carr's
solution
like,
is going to tax the rich people, but that's
hold up.
No.
I mean, this is what's fascinating is that Joe Rogan seems to be devolving in terms of his understanding of what government is. Like, there's nobody raiding the coffers in the government. You don't have government bureaucrats going like, did we get more tax money in? Let me just stick my hand in the vault and pull the money and put it in. To the extent that anybody's getting the money, it is literally the wealthy people who have been sitting across from him have been getting subsidized by the government, whether it's Elon Musk or Palantir gets all these contracts.
Yeah, but you see, you never hear Joe Rogan talk about that, right? That's okay. We can use public funds to subsidize and give government contracts to these billionaires. That is an appropriate use of our tax dollars, right? That's perfectly okay. You never hear Joe Rogan complain about that. But if you want to raise the tax on the rich to make sure we have functioning governmental programs, then Joe Rogan is going to take issue with that. I wonder if Emma's real dad watches her show.
Or all of the people, the billionaires he's had sitting in have been far more bigger beneficiaries of government money. But we see there's two reasons why he tax. One is to redistribute the money,
right?
Which of course he would have an issue with, right? Government shouldn't be redistributing the money. Well, that's what they do.
That won't help the proletariat.
And if they're taking it from the wealthy, they're giving it to the poor. They may give it to the poor in the form of Medicaid.
Yep.
They may give it to the poor in form of SNAP. They may give it to the
Redistribute
middle
the
class in terms of like an earned child tax credit. They may give it to the people, as in 5 years ago, we cut child poverty in half in 1 year.
Yep.
In 1 year. By giving $300 per kid to families. We cut child poverty in half. There's a million examples of this. We're going to see people lose their health insurance. What was that money that was paying it? It was tax money. This is without getting into like monetary theory.
Yeah. It's pretty cut and dry. Is that Joe Rogan live from Polymarket Studios?
Thing like that. That's just the basic. The other reason why you tax those wealthy people is so that they don't have an outsized political power that goes with that economic power.
Like his buddy Elon Musk.
Or Peter Thiel, who's sitting across, or Mark Andreessen, or all of those wealthy people.
Yep. Ponder Monkey, welcome to Poverty Line is Ridiculous Low, kind of worthless win. And if the government raises money and gives it to the rich instead of the form of corporate welfare, it is fascism. Well, I mean, this is what's happening now, right? But Joe Rogan doesn't have any umbrage with that. He doesn't take any issue with that. You see?
The funny part is that Jimmy Carr is looking at there, and Rogan says this, and Jimmy Carr goes, and I don't know anything about Jimmy Carr, but the guy goes, well,
yeah,
but
not really.
I don't really want to ruin my career by disagreeing with you right now. But
I also don't want to be on camera.
I don't want to agree
kind of
with
a
it.
worthless win, but it's a win. Kids were helped, just a cook stat. Yeah, I mean, those subsidies definitely helped people on the ground. It's not a catch-all, but the government regulates. The FDA doesn't control the grocery stores, and the NIH doesn't control the hospitals. Yeah. Having too much money gives you brain damage. It's for their own safety. True.
Really, like fourth grader version of what happens to our tax dollars.
And when he says, you're going to tax them, it's going to go to this corrupt government. That's not going to do anything for you. What corrupts? What corrupts? Big money corrupts, you dummy. What if he's basically saying that this has not, like, everything's fine, don't tax wealthy people, the government's too corrupt to handle this kind of redistribution, although we do it right now, it's just redistributed upwards. The point that the government is corrupt is because there's too much money to corrupt it. It's not just vaguely corrupt. I would wonder what he means by corrupt.
Yeah,
he thinks all the money's going to like trans playwrights in Iraq.
Yeah, exactly. Like his worldview, his caveman brained worldview, is one of like a 12-year-old who just discovered politics kind of way. He thinks that just because you are taxing wealthy people more, the government is inherently corrupt, when that may or may not be the case, right? And as Emma pointed out, the thing that is currently doing the corrupting is these big money interests. It's the very same guests that Joe Rogan is talking to. But he doesn't seem to want to go that way. Yeah, so afraid of someone getting something he isn't.
Right, exactly.
Are their services going to improve? No, you're just going to get more government.
Okay,
but it seems like a good idea. Like maybe the solution.
But what does that even mean? But you're just going to get more government. What does that mean? If more government means we get more services and more social safety nets, then that is good. That is objectively good. Corporations and rich people ever? Absolutely never corrupt. Yep. Are more cops more government? He'd be in favor of that. Excellent question. He'd be in favor of that. Funny how that works, huh? A 12-year-old catching strays. I'm sorry. Should I say 15-year-old libertarian brain? I don't know. Listen, hashtag not all young folks, okay? When I was 15 years old, okay, I wasn't talking nonsense about I wasn't a libertarian or edgelord. I never had a libertarian edgelord phase, okay? That didn't happen. So, you know what? Not all 15-year-olds or not all young people, okay? Put that disclosure out there. It's interesting that the same people who go bonkers over the Epstein files and stuff believe rich people should control everything as if it's as if all their thoughts are compartmentalized. I mean, you kind of have to in this kind of scenario, right? So it doesn't work.
We got to tax the rich people, but that's no. You got to figure out what to do with the money you already get from everybody, and you're not doing a good job with it. Like, that's the problem. The problem isn't like the rich people aren't paying their shit. Like, I always hear that about Elon. Like, he doesn't even pay tax. Elon paid more taxes in 2024 than any living human being that has ever existed.
Okay, and yet somehow he's on his way, on paper anyways, to become a trillionaire, which means he isn't being taxed enough. Otto, thank you for the follow. Moanep, hey, welcome. Not sure if I said hello. The poll was pretty unanimous.
He paid something like $10 billion in taxes.
Yeah, I felt like I did in 2012, though. Felt like I did.
What happened? You divorced?
I got.
It felt like I did.
He basically is just trying to
change the
conversation with a joke.
Let's not talk about this. Let's talk about something different, shall we?
The everyman defending the honor of the world's richest man on his podcast.
By the way, Elon Musk is
Dreyer, the Samsig says Jimmy Carr was famous.
He should be taxed at least like 10 times more.
Caught avoiding taxes in the UK and had to pay it back and is constantly made fun for it. Oh, there we go.
And even he's like, I'm not buying that argument.
Floyd the Barber says, remember when this guy was really into Bernie Sanders? I mean,
he's so dumb.
I think that he knows, though. I mean, it's unclear, like, what synapses fire in Rogan's head where it makes him take this on. But
it's vibes.
But also, Elon Musk is reportedly going to be.
I think Emma is 100% correct. Like, literally, it's just vibes. More government would be nice. An FDA that actually keeps the food supply safe would be nice. A CDC that actually controls diseases would be nice. Yeah, exactly. If we're talking about more government in this fashion, then yeah, I would be in favor of, quote, more government. We need that. We need to make sure that we have an adequate FDA to make sure that people aren't getting food poisoning. We need to make sure that we have a functioning CDC, not run by cranks, not ran by cranks, to make sure that we can get adequate guidance for diseases. We want a EPA that isn't captured by the fossil fuel industry to do its job to make sure that we have a clean environment. Hello, chat. Elon and Joe Rogan leave for Mars soon. One-way ticket, I would say.
The world's first trillionaire soon. $10 billion, even if that was true, is too low of a tax rate.
100%.
Yeah, you know what $10 billion is to Elon Musk? Right now, Elon Musk is like, what, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars? That's literally like a rounding error to him. $10 billion okay, is nothing. Firefly, welcome. Even before this administration, our food supply is more listeria than food product. It's even worse now. Yeah, and that it requires more government, or should require more government, to make sure that is dealt with. Yeah, all the billionaires can can punch their one-way ticket. Someone did an interesting post on Reddit of the U.S. before the EPA. Lots of poop rivers. Yeah, it was really bad. It was really, 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 really bad.
Sweet Lord. I mean, God.
He shouldn't even have $1 billion. All of that. You can have $999 million. You can't have $1 billion in my America and my world. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how much Elon Musk. So Elon Musk saw his net worth skyrocket by approximately $200 to $240 billion.
Nice.
By the end of 2024. Now, he didn't make that in the context of a salary. It was all in stock. It was all on paper. $10 billion of 240 is
like,
not even 10%.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a 4% tax rate.
Yep.
That's amazing. 4% tax rate. Hey, what's the tax rate on like the average American? Yeah. The profits. We have to be reckless to make more profits. True. There's still a huge measles outbreak in South Carolina, and the new strain of flu is out. Nice. Love it. Over 100 people have measles. Jesus Christ. I even doubt you should even have 10 million. 35%. I would buy that. I was thinking more like 20 something, but yeah, I would buy that. Elon has very little liquid assets, though. He has next to no solvency. I mean, but like you should be able to tax. Like there should be a way, and you're gonna have to excuse my ignorance here. There should be a way of taxing that, of taxing these these technically on paper kind of wealth, right? Like if you're technically worth like hundreds of billions of dollars, and that means you would be able to say, like, for example, sell stock or whatever, take out loans with that stock as collateral to access that money. So hypothetically, you should be able to pay that tax on that. Now, again, you're gonna have to excuse my ignorance on how the what's it called, on the mechanics of how that's gonna work, but I think you guys get the point, right? There is, but his accountants are very busy preventing that. Gotcha. Okay, well, whatever that mechanism is, right, to say like, hey, you're worth X amount of money, okay, and I don't care how that comes to be, whether it be stocks or whatever. Then you're gonna have to sell or put up for collateral, and pay those taxes. Yeah, call it a wealth tax, whatever. Does it include state and local tax? I would say so if you have it, because not all states have that. Yeah, loan yourself the money and pay yourself interest, and it's all tax-free. I'm a huge proponent of inheritance tax too. Yep. If you're poor with kids, also known as tax credits, you get decimated by taxes. Yep.
So,
but they don't know what to do with the money. So
Yeah.
what does it matter?
Why even try?
Yeah.
now it's quite possible that, it was on paper. He didn't actually make that money. But of course, he goes out and he takes that paper and he borrows against that paper. So he'll borrow
Yeah.
70 billion, 80 billion, 90 billion.
Whatever.
Maybe he'll borrow even more.
Yep. So he can access that in that fashion. So therefore it should be able to be taxed.
What he's worth on paper and use that as collateral. The money he borrows is not taxed. It is completely rigged. At the end of the day, God knows how little he's actually paying on money that he's making.
Then he takes that money, buys an election, uses his electoral power to lay off 200,000 federal employees. I mean, just kill the lives of so many people.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Can you imagine, to be like, somebody's got to defend Elon.
Yeah. Well,
he doesn't have enough money to defend himself. He's such a victim.
He's phoning it
such
in.
a victim.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the knight in shining armor for the richest human being on earth who has so much money. He wants to go to Mars just to figure out what to do with all the money.
Tough
he doesn't
guy.
have room in his bank account, so he has to go to
Yeah, this is exactly the type of obscene amount of wealth that we're talking about. A guy with no money can bribe voters. Yep, apparently. Silly boo-boo, that's how they get around taxes. They borrow against value, and then it's a debt, not an asset. It's a loophole after loophole. I agree, so maybe it shouldn't exist.
Mars to spend some of it down. I mean,
I
it's
think,
just so
like,
good.
Rogan, he's reached this level of wealth.
Luigi, we trust.
Where, God, he's one of those bunker boys. He's one of those bunker guys. He has way more in common with Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen than he has with literally anybody that listens to his podcast. And, you know, we talked about those Theo Von, like the Schultz and Theo Von now kind of being pro Mamdani, and then you see how does that make sense given how cozy you were with Trump. Those guys, I think, were like Rogan when he was into Bernie, back in 2016 or even 2020. They are riding the vibes of their audience, but at this point, Joe is so insulated and so isolated from regular people that he's not even. I feel like he's not even captured by his audience right now. He's so financially captured because of the scale of the deal that he got with Spotify that it's about the billionaire glazing hour at this point.
Yep. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out.
Yep. And if you don't want to go that route, then we'll just start seizing all those assets, right? Like start seizing all the yachts. If we really want to go that way, we need to divest these people of their power and influence. Yep, and that means taxing the heck out of them. That's one way of doing it. Eminent domain, on all their money, houses, weird little islands, etc. Yep. Billionaires owe reparations to all the world's people. Yep. In that interview with Susie Wild, she said Elon slept in a sleeping bag and was an odd duck. I could see that. It's kind of, I mean, that is an Elon Musk thing, right? Wait, I thought, oh, okay, here we are. I think someone posted Echo Resto Dragon gave us a couple of stories here. I think there's only one way to introduce this story. There's really only one way to introduce this story.
I wanna see Patricia McCoskey. Steven. I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna see Patricia McCoskey. I wanna scream for the GOP. I wanna sit with Dan Bongino. I wanna show the American flag. Eggs behind the toilet in grandma's basement. I wanna ask if he'll be my dad. I wanna change my name to Nick Bongino. I wanna tell him about the descend the stairs. He kinda looks like Dan Bongino. Grandma tries to tell me not to go down there, but I would be safe with Dan Bongino. I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna be like Dan Bongino. I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna be like Dan Bongino.
They'll fend off expropriation with violence and do that with the impure state of authority. They will definitely try and do that. Yep. It's historically it's usually what they try to do. I knew it. I know they meant sleeping bag, but sleeping bag has a morbid charm to it, don't you think? She's Trump's chief of staff. Oh, that's the interview about Trump and I didn't realize she was talking about other people too. Dan Bongino is clearing out his office in preparation for FBI exit. Bro's getting ready to dip. Apparently, Deputy FBI Director and, I can't stress this enough, podcaster Dan Bongino is reportedly clearing out his office ahead of an imminent departure from the Bureau and potential return to the MAGA media circuit. Apparently just being a grifting podcaster was a much more simpler life for Mr. Dan Bongino. The New York Times has reported Bongino told associates he could leave as soon as this week or mid-January. People familiar with his plans told the Times on Wednesday he has not yet made a formal announcement. To back the claims, however, the newspaper sources further revealed that Bongino had begun shipping off his knickknacks and other personal belongings back to Florida, where he plans to resume his broadcasting career in time for the 2026 midterm elections. Oof, that grifting machine needs to be put back in action. As it turns out, being the deputy director of the FBI, much more difficult than sitting around in a studio and making conservative slop. That's why they didn't want to give you A Bug's Life its own section in Disney World. I love A Bug's Life. Be funny if you removed the D and the T from his keyboard when he left. Ah, being at the FBI was too much work. True. That's right. Spanish has a trick for avoiding the clash between billion and million. They say mil millón, thousand, million. Likewise, the clash between trillion and billion with millón. They weren't working, they were doing cocaine. Sources told Fox Digital News on Monday that Bongino had not made a final decision and denied that his office was empty, but did add that he was expected to declare his intentions in the coming weeks. Yeah, no, guys, peacing out. Look, being FBI deputy director and doing actual work, very difficult. We're just gonna mosey on out of here. This is way too difficult. The former podcaster arrived at the FBI this year promising disruption and ideological clarity after President Trump nominated him. However, the Times reported that earlier this month, Bongino floated the idea of choreographing his exit around a major law enforcement moment to associates. He allegedly said he may announce his resignation at a press conference tied to the investigation into who planted the pipe bombs, which, as we have gotten a little more information, seems to be a Trump supporter. Near the DNC and RNC headquarters. The newspaper added that behind the scenes, Bongino has also made a point in repairing relations with Attorney General Pam Bondi, whom he had accused of mishandling the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein in July. I mean, look, what are you talking about? Pam Bondi was the Attorney General in Florida who Pam Bondi was the Attorney General in Florida who let this guy skate. She saved Jeffrey Epstein when she was the Attorney General in Florida. So to say that, oh, now she's mishandling the investigation? No, it's on purpose. Also, it's not like the FBI will stop bungling investigations anytime soon. They don't like being in power, they like crying about their lack of power way too much. Good point. The victim complex, the victim narrative. At that time, he reportedly threatened to resign after Bondi's department released a memo that concluding that much of the hyped Epstein client list did not, in fact, exist, a topic that has been a focus on Bongino's podcast before his tenure. The Trump says FBI Bongino, Trump's weighing in on this now, wants to go back to his show. President Trump said on Wednesday today he thought that the FBI Deputy Director, Dan Bongino, wanted to go back to his show following media reports that the former podcaster was planning to quit his role. Dan did a great job, ? Job of what? Exactly. But okay. I think he wants to go back to his show. FBI spokespeople did not immediately respond to a request for comment. One more time for the memes, okay? Because we have to.
I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna see Patricia McCloskey. I wanna scream for the GOP. I wanna sit with Dan Bongino. I wanna show the American flag. Eggs behind the toilet in grandma's basement. I wanna ask him if he'll be my dad. I wanna change my name to Nick Bongino. I wanna tell him about the man in the stairs. He kinda looks like Dan Bongino. Grandma tries to tell me not to go down there, but I would be safe with Dan Bongino. I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna be like Dan Bongino. I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna be like Dan Bongino.
Me too. What an easy life, right? What an easy life to just sit around on a studio and pontificate on a delusional worldview that you can just make up because it's all fake. You don't even have to tell the truth. Can you imagine? Two things can be true: that there's more to the Epstein files than is being reported, but that it is less salacious or revelatory than people may expect. I mean, like, yeah, it could be as simple as like, yeah, we all knew that these people were implicated, and that happened. And that's the end of the story. Like, wow, really? Rich people doing some really weird, gross stuff? Yeah. Rich and powerful people? Yep. Are we still talking about Epstein? You know, it's incredible. He was a terrible man. Are we still talking about him? Please stop talking. And Dan, anonymously, now his life is harder. He has to show up to work sometimes. Why do we need wealthy people? Get rid of them. I agree. They should. Their wealth should be expropriated. Oh, I bet there's all kind of evidence. I mean, if that exists, it would be there would be forms of evidence like that. We saw it with other big cases, so I would not be surprised if that ends up being the case, but we'll probably never ever see that. Bongino is complaining he isn't making enough. He made more money doing even less before. Yeah, being a right-wing grifter is lucrative. Obamacare subsidies extensions to get vote after 4 Republicans buck leadership. So just to be clear, this isn't this isn't a Republican good story. This is in fact actually another way of seeing this is Republicans are getting scared about the midterms, and they are seeing the writing on the wall. They're seeing the chickens in the distance coming home to roost. This is happening. This is what's happening. Mike Johnson failed to head off a rebellion for Republicans in his party over extending Obamacare tax credits that will expire at the end of December. 4 moderate House Republicans rebelled. I hate that they use this framing, okay? Like, just to be clear, these people are ghouls, okay? The reason why this is happening is because they know that when push comes to shove and people's healthcare, poor people's healthcare, skyrockets, that they're the ones that are going to get shellacked in the midterms. Oh, this does not surprise me, Nadia, at all. This does not surprise me at all. Rebelled against Mike Johnson on Wednesday, joining Democrats to force a vote on extending Obamacare subsidies that are set to expire at the end of the year. If approved, the measure will extend enhanced tax credits for customers of the ACA for 3 years. If those subsidies expire as scheduled, the prices of Obamacare premiums that millions of Americans personally pay will skyrocket. The stunning defections by the quartet of Republicans came a day after Johnson said that the GOP leaders would not allow a vote under normal procedure on keeping the enhanced ACA tax credits alive in 2026. Johnson earlier on Wednesday morning urged GOP caucus members not to join Democrats in the procedural end run around him. Lacking sufficient Republican support to extend the credits, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries in November created a so-called discharge petition that would force a vote on an extension once it gained signatures from 218 House members. Democrats only have 214, so they needed 4 Republicans for that measure to work. Johnson on Wednesday, I was asked about the discharge petition on CNBC's Squawk Box. He said doing an end run around the majority party, the speaker, or the regular process is not the best way to make law. Oh, please. Shut up. Like, shut up about all of a sudden caring about procedure. Okay? Like, these people, like, this is what infuriates me about how, like, this kind of dynamic works, right? Like, Republicans will hand-wring about procedure, okay, when it suits them. And Democrats are too weak to just say, like, you know what? Why don't we do things this way? But Republicans, when it suits them, they will break procedure and say, like, well, actually, this obscure rule under section whatever allows the House to do whatever, right? Like, Republicans it's gross. It's gross. Rivalry. Republicans need to put forth a healthcare plan if they can't approve the ACA. Tired of hearing 2 more weeks. Well, Republicans don't have a healthcare plan. That's the thing. Republicans don't have a healthcare plan. Their healthcare plan is good luck and die. That's it. Did anyone see Chip Roy's healthcare and government cleanup rant? No. Republicans, the Republicans are watching winter come. Twitch censored me again. Yeah, Twitch tends to do that. It didn't work last time. Well, at least this one's easier. There's a redacted list of evidence of DVR saying stuff like Young redacted with redacted by dozens of, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I am. I think this is exactly what Nadia was talking about. It was epic. The first time I 100% agreed with everything he said. Wow. Each disc was labeled with the name. Oh, yeah. Here's what I do with the parliamentarian. Yeah, exactly. I'll fire them. But about 2 hours later, 4 moderate Republicans signed the petition. Brian Fitzpatrick, Rob Bresnan, and Ron McKenzie, all of Pennsylvania, and Mike Lawler of New York. When leadership blocks action entirely, Congress has a responsibility to act. My priority is ensuring the Hudson Valley families aren't getting caught in the gridlock. Totally synergistic. One uses obscure rules to get movement. Dems use them to excuse to not. Yeah. Exactly. And it's all very frustrating and infuriating because it's not like we can't see what's happening, right? Like, they take us for fools. Us, I mean, generally speaking. We see what they're doing. The vote on the extending ACA subsidies is critical for vulnerable House Republicans up for re-election as the GOP tries to hang on to its razor-thin majority. Lawler on Tuesday said not holding a vote on subsidies would be political malpractice. So again, this story isn't about like, oh wow, Republicans, the Joni Ernst don't care plan. This isn't a story about wow, Republicans suddenly found their moral compass. This is a oh snap moment. This is an oh snap moment. We are going to lose if this happens, and we need to do something about it, because these people, this very same party, right? Not that long ago, was all gung ho about getting rid of Obamacare and all this stuff, and you know what? Obamacare was such a burden, and it's really bad, and it's been a Republican project to get rid of it for years since its inception, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh, actually, we we need those subsidies because we're about to lose. Yeah, we all die sooner or later. The pay or per die plan, they're not going to lose because they've already rigged the elections. Well, I mean, I don't know, like, by rigging, I consider, like, maybe messing with district maps and things like that. But no, these vulnerable Republicans, which could flip the House, could very well end up losing because of this. And no amount of shenanigans will undo that. And believe me, they are trying. This push to move congressional district maps and stuff like that, that is rigging the elections. To what extent they're going to be able to do that is unclear. But they're certainly trying. Well, yeah, that's why they're given. That's why they're given presidential election winner about 30% endorsement of voting population. But some sooner than others. I think what you're trying to say is that Republicans have to back away from Trump. No, they should tie themselves to Trump. I want them to lose. Like, just to be clear, I need them to lose. To have a better country, okay? To have a better country, these people need to be destroyed politically. The Republican Party as a institution needs to be destroyed. Okay? Fascists are not to be debated. They are to be destroyed. And the fact of the matter is, they just cannot hold power. I need them to lose. And it's not just for me. It would be better off for everybody if Republicans lost power. Not just me, but even for the conservative average American, it would be beneficial if Republicans lost power. So yeah, I would actually say the opposite. I would say, yeah, please continue to tie yourself to Trump. Please. Hey, Galactic Streamlord, welcome. Hey, folks, go check out GNN on Twitch. I'm going to open up a hair salon. You're going to die, curl up and die. I like curl up and die. I want a hot country. Viktor Orban doesn't do anywhere near as many shady things as the right does in the US. Yeah, no, he does it in the open. He doesn't have to worry about any of that. He's pretty open about it. And also, like, the mechanisms in Hungary are different. Like, how many countries have a system where you can just, like, arbitrarily change district maps to try to favor your party? Oh, you mean he's not? Okay, he's not as aggressive. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Hungary has gerrymandering? Well, there you go. There you go. It probably explains the undemocratic status that they have. The point being is I don't think that there's a lot of countries that operate this way. And as you've pointed out, the ones that do, not great, not good, not great. If the measure does end up clearing the House, it would still need to be approved by the Senate. Last week, the Senate rejected a similar measure that would have extended the subsidies for 3 years. Under this proposal, people making $500K per year would continue to be eligible for what were supposed to be temporary COVID-era subsidies. Senate Majority Leader John Thune. This seems like a lie. This seems like a lie because I'm pretty sure I read the subsidies, and I'm pretty sure this was meant for poor people, not anyone making $500K or more. I could be wrong. Chip Roy's rant was basically, since Congress is so useless at getting healthcare to people, fire all Congress and only elect people who actually can get healthcare to all the people. Oh yeah, no, I agree. I'm questioning. I'm not disagreeing with what Chip Roy is saying. I'm questioning whether or not he cares or actually believes in that. So I would say, yeah, call his bluff on it. Yes, this is only live. I heard 5 Republicans broke off and are now backing Dems' clean extension of the ACA subsidies. Yes, that's what we're talking about. 4 Republicans, and that's what we're exactly talking about. He does have a stranglehold on power, but the objective value to say that Hungary actually isn't anywhere near as bad as the U.S. for a number of bad things. Wow. Jeez, that's how cooked we are, huh? Gotcha. But just to clarify, can they like, can they alter like districts, like states within Hungary, or however they want to classify it, can they alter like their constituency to make like to reform the legislature in whatever the way they want? Sometimes this says live, but it's actually just a live countdown timer that's really long. I mean, still live. If the ACA is so effed, then why not better it? Because the ACA was already pretty cooked from the beginning. It was basically it was basically a health insurance company bill, and it was cooked from the beginning. However, it did have some important things that people didn't have before the ACA, so taking it away is going worse, if you can believe that. The real answer is we shouldn't have the ACA. We should have a universal healthcare system. This is something that every other country has somehow managed to figure out, and that's the real answer. And even if you want to take the even if you want to take the route of fixing the ACA, Republicans wouldn't want that either. They've made it their entire mission to destroy the ACA. So it's kind of like a moot point. Okay. Multiple seat winner constituencies rigged so Orban's party can take most of them. Gotcha. Gotcha. Romney care. That's right. It was originally Romney care. 100% agree on universal healthcare. It shouldn't be called universal healthcare. It should just be called healthcare. Yeah. But what we mean is like it's for everybody. But I'm not opposed to the terms. Yeah, just call it healthcare, single payer system, tomato, but you know what I mean. And even if, like, just to be clear, like, even if, who cares if people are getting healthcare? Like, why would it matter if someone making under 500K, why would it matter if someone under 500K is getting healthcare? Or why would it matter if somebody above 500K is getting healthcare? At the end of the day, like, rich or poor, you are still in need of healthcare. But anyways, yeah, it should be called what the IOF has. True. Johnson and GOP leadership are pushing a separate bill that would not extend the enhanced subsidies. The House will vote on that bill, which would provide cost-sharing aid for consumers on Wednesday. Or you could just extend the already existing infrastructure. But okay. Their answer to this is creating HSA accounts. This is silly. Make the super restrictive healthcare for individualistic only care, but then give it to everyone. This way nobody cries socialism. Yeah, sure. Word it however you need to word it. No, that one's too spicy, Bruno. That one's too spicy. I'm not doing that one. We've got one more account, well, let's say this one here. An HSA account was part of my healthcare plan. HSA is limited on what you can do. Yep. So I mean, this is really like, do we need to say much more than this? Do we really need to say much more than this? We're pushing $900 billion for the defense fund. This is obscene. Wasn't last time was like 800 and something? The last bill for defense was like 800 and something. Now we're just at 900 billion dollars. Yeah, Biden did increase it. That's right. And just to be clear, a Democratic administration would probably have increased it as well, given this time. But this is absurd. This is obscene. We're just talking about healthcare just a moment ago, arguing about, watching the GOP argue about how, we're going to pay for this healthcare stuff when we're spending $901 billion on quote unquote defense. 900 billion Coast Guard swastikas. Yeah, the woke radical left. That's right. Gaza Hope Radio, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't see the U.S. needing an almost $1 trillion budget when all of our politicians say we have the best military. Yep, but we need more. We need more. I agree with you. So we got one more story to deep dive into. The Vought says National Center for Atmospheric Research will be dismantled because we don't know. We don't need that, apparently. The National Science Foundation will dismantle the National Center for Atmospheric Research. Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vought announced on Tuesday night, yesterday, the latest salvo in the Trump administration's push to gut federally funded climate research. Yep. This facility is one of the largest sources of climate alarmism in the country. Yeah, this is everyone's picking up what's being put down here, right? So they're bemoaning the idea that this science arm of this bureaucratic science arm is obviously publishing information that they don't want. I'm pretty sure this is at the behest of fossil fuel industries, by saying that, hey, all this office, this center, all they do is push climate alarmism by publishing data. That's what this is about. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Headquartered in Boulder, Colorado, in operation since 1960, the NCAR has long provided universities and academics with state-of-the-art resources to perform advanced Earth system research. Its loss, said Colorado Governor Jared Polis, would mean science is being attacked. Well, that's kind of the name of the game. That's the name of the game. Wolfglen, welcome. I hope none of you live where hurricanes, flooding, or tornadoes happen. Yep. Because it's bad enough. All the Doge cuts to other branches have been pretty bad. And now we're getting rid of the research arm of this. Yeah, all science is woke. Must be destroyed. The NCAR delivers data around severe weather events like fires, floods that help our country save lives and property and prevent devastation for families, he said. If these cuts move forward, we will lose our competitive advantage against foreign powers and adversaries in pursuit of scientific discovery. The USA Today was the first to report the administration's plans to break up the research center. The Trump administration previously made major cuts to the National Weather Service, a move could explain for a slower federal response to flooding in Texas and potentially hampering preparations for hurricane season, claims that the White House vehemently denied. Yeah. Instead, we're having Kristi Noem or whoever say that thank goodness that the president has kept hurricanes away. So if there's a weather storm, we'll lose advance notice. It won't be as accurate. We won't have good data. We won't have good data. It won't be as accurate. So who knows? Good luck, everyone. That alert that you may or may not get, who knows? It might not work. It might work. It might be wrong. They're also attacking vaccination. So now long eradicated epidemics are resurging. Yep. Did he nuke the hurricanes out over the water and we didn't know? Yeah, he personally did it. God Emperor Trump managed to single-handedly keep the hurricanes at bay. It's incredible stuff. Vaught said elements of the NCAR's work would remain in other channels. A comprehensive review is underway, and any vital activities such as weather research will be moved to another entity or location. Yeah. Somehow I don't believe that. Are they saying that Trump's cloud of smog kept hurricanes away? China will win the AI battle against the US because they adopted green energy. Their national grid outputs 2 times the US grid at half the cost per kilowatt hour, and their models are always just behind any best. Reminds me to stop counting the COVID cases, so number of cases will go down. Yep. Good luck, everybody. The risk on hurricanes is there has been a trend of hurricanes building up faster than previously and changing directions, i.e. folks are more likely to be surprised by unexpected direct hits. Yep, and with all these cuts, correct, with all these cuts, I mean, who knows? You know, we won't have the accurate, it's already bad enough, but we won't have the accurate data to say, like, how strong, how quickly, and where. It's all messed up. If this happens, it'll be even worse. All right, folks, time for me to get out of here. Whoops, that was a Category 5, not a 2. Good luck, everyone. Hope y'all evacuated. And if you didn't, we didn't have time to warn you. This is just hurricanes, not heat waves or cold snaps. Basically, like anything that we would need a warning, from, we can just basically say that it's not going to be as good or as accurate. So, yeah. Good luck, everyone, for tornadoes, hurricanes, anything that requires advance warning. It just won't be there. It won't be as accurate. Who knows? Yeah, governance is all vibe based on the right wing. Whatever feels right to them, it'll be our downfall. Yeah, probably. All right, folks, time for me to get out of here and get some food. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. Appreciate the subs. Thank you to all the new followers hanging out here. Appreciate all of you guys. Thank you to the new faces for hanging. Thank you, Michael Hester, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all. As always, folks, if you want to support the channel, take a look at some of these links over here. Please spread the word far and wide. This is one of the best ways to support the channel. If you want to support it directly, check out the merch store. Check out the !tip. Join the Discord, folks. Join the Discord. Check out my show on this space at 7 p.m. each Tuesday. If you don't know what this space is, check out the link. Thanks for the chat in Polymarket Studios. Take care. Appreciate it. We'll be at work. No problem. Spread the word, folks. Time for me to get out of here and get some food. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. If you want, I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow about 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See you. All right, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.